I'm Danielle. Welcome to Crafty Stitches. This is Flosstube number 5. Today is August 27th. This Flosstube channel is all about my journey in cross stitch, from starting something to working on it and then finishing it. So today I have projects to go over, as well as a few finishes and some plans for the future. If this is your first time, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and join me again next time. I also love comments, so if you have anything that you want to share with me or ask a question, of course, please. And then for those who are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. It's so good to see you guys. All right, so today, like I mentioned, we are gonna start with I have one fully finished project, which I sort of mentioned last time. And then I've got 2 finishes from a while back that I wanted to show you guys. And then I worked on 8 works in progress, or WIPs, this week, over the last 2 weeks. And then I have some plans. No haul today. I have some thoughts, though. I'm gonna show you one I think I'm gonna buy over the next couple of weeks and get started on. So yeah, so let's get started. My fully finished project is My Valentine. This is by Susan Akey, and it's a freebie on the Aurifil website. I stitched it on 46 count oat linen by Zweigart, and it's my own DMC conversion. I'm really, okay, so last time I talked all about how I made my my cardboard cutout here. But this time, so since I saw you guys last, I glued on the washer to this wooden heart from, and let's see, it's from Hobby Lobby. It's from a couple years ago. And so I glued on. I also bought some bigger magnets for the back of this project. And my hope is to have more projects that I can switch out on this heart throughout the year. So to be honest, I'm so excited because I've always wanted to have one of these things I can switch out on, and I've seen people do it on Flosstube, but I had never was kind of scared to attempt it myself. But here we are, I finally did it. I actually bought this wooden piece a few years ago so I could do this, and now I finally did it. And I think it's partly thanks to you guys, your motivation and this Flosstube for getting me to do it. So super happy with how this came out. Look forward to being able to share it on Valentine's Day. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been hanging out on my mantle actually since I finished it because I'm so proud of it. So I don't think my family, I don't know if they've noticed. I guess they will notice when it gets closer to Halloween, because my kids are gonna be wondering where the Halloween projects are and where the decorations. So that's usually when I get reminded that I need to change out decorations is Halloween. So anyway, so yeah, so super proud of how that one turned out. These next 2 are finishes. The first one's kind of neat because this was actually the oldest finish that I own that I had. And I stitched this when I was in 7th grade. I don't know the name of it. It was a kit from a craft store. And I was in 1997. Yep. And it came with a little, all I have is a circle that came with it. I guess, my guess is it had another frame too, but I don't have that part anymore. So this is all I have. So I actually just ordered a 3x3 frame to put it in, and it's navy. And I think that will be neat because the back stitching is actually in navy. So I think it'll look really nice. And the only other funny thing about this is I was looking at it really closely, and my X's went a different way when I was in 7th grade. So I was like, wow, I wonder what made me switch which way I was doing my X's. But the good news, I guess, is that they're all going the right, one way. They're all going the same way. But I think it's pretty funny that since I stitched that, I've actually switched the way I do my X's. So yeah, so hopefully in the next few episodes, you'll get to see that finished. I think it'll be so cute to have a little tiny frame for it. And all right, so then that was one. And then my other finish from this one I finished, let's see, I want to say, I think it was earlier this year. It was right around Easter. This is called Rabbits, Carrots, and Eggs. This is by StitchyPrincessBlack, and she has a store on Etsy. And it's 32 count Natural Linen by Zweigart, and I actually did a stash conversion for this piece. I want to say the colors were darker, and so I wanted it to kind of be brighter, and I love lavender, so that made it an easy choice. And then I lightened up the carrots too. So I really like how this one turned out, and I think I'm gonna. Honestly, I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish it yet. I might do a frame, but I kind of wanted it to be, I thought a pillow would be cute, but it's almost too big. It's like reaching that, okay, a little too big for a pillow, unless I do like a bigger pillow, but I like to do the pillows on my mantle, so I probably will frame it. But yeah, so really like that one. I think the difficulty in stitching this one for me was because when I started it on this linen, I now, like, I don't know why you're supposed to start like a certain way on the linen, like with certain threads, like you know, like if you look, like the way the threads go over each other, there's like a certain way you're supposed to start, or at least consistent. So I started the other way, not the way I do it now. And so when I went back to stitch on this, it was really confusing because like my normal marker for figuring out which thread to put my needle up through was different than it is now. And so it made it a little confusing, but I got through it, and now I have a consistent, and this was like, I think it's, when you're starting out, you know, you're just trying to get used to the way you're going to do things or the way you like to do things. And so anyway, so that was the tricky part in this one. All right, so now we're going to go to the things I worked on over the last 2 weeks since I saw you guys last. This one's so close to a finish. This is Mill Hill's Santa Paws. I have a very wrinkled picture here. It's so cute. And this is part of their holiday collection, and everything is from the kit. Sorry, it's hard for me to see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh yeah, so I've got the beads in Joy and the heart. They're on the top, on the toes. The toes are all done. So I just need to do the beads in the larger paw pad there. And then it's done. I just have to finish it. This is a really fun one to stitch. And for the first time, I realized that when I was doing the Mill Hill beads, they actually instruct you whether to do a full cross stitch or a half cross stitch through the beads. And it makes the beads basically either line up with the fabric or have a slight slant. And for the bigger beads, which are the green ones, they're kind of going at an angle, which might be, well, maybe you can see. But the red ones are a little bit smaller beads, and so they have you put them, do a full cross stitch through them. And I think it's a neat effect. It just adds a little bit more to the pattern. So I thought that was really cool. Another thing I thought I'd share is this, and you guys might have seen these before. I want to say I got this from Mama Loves You GB, the idea for it. But it's like a bead keeper, and I'll put the name of what it was. I bought it on 123 Stitch, but it's like a little, like old type CD case, and it's got sticky, which of course you can see my animal, my pet fur that collects in it as well. But you know, if you can ignore that, this thing is super useful. And I love that I can just throw some beads on there, just a few, and then I can work very easily with the needle. And then I just keep it in the pouch. So I will put the name of what this was below, but I did buy it at 123 Stitch, and it has been extremely helpful. All right, so the next thing I worked on, this is also one I've been really enjoying working on, is the Northwoods Heirloom Christmas Stocking. And this is stitched on 25 count Lugana, and it's the color Potato by Zweigart. It's stitched 3/2 with DMC. It's also by Kooler Design Studio, and it's on their website. Originally, it was in I think it was in the Better Homes and Gardens. It's like a special book that they released in the 1990s. So I have 2 of these stockings already done. This is for my my little girl, my youngest, and most of my work this time was all in this chest. I basically just worked all on blue the whole time, and I'm almost done with that. I guess you know what else I did? I added the C. I got the C block because it was the same color as the dark blue in the chest. So I did do that. So I love this is coming along. This is such a nice one to stitch on because the fabric is 25 count, so it's a little easier to see. And the stitches are so nice and plump. So it just looks so nice when you're stitching it. So yeah, so moving right along with this one. And I'm gonna keep working on this one for sure in the next, at least the next few weeks for sure. Sometimes I get tired of it and have to take a break, but this time I've really enjoyed working on it. All right, the next one is the Chibi Disney Princesses. This is by Antique Stitch on Etsy, but she unfortunately no longer has this pattern available. And so I actually have done a fair amount this time. So I finished Belle. And then I also finished Elsa. So how exciting. So this is stitched on 28 count Lugana Delphinium by Fabric Flair. And I just have 5 princesses left. Look, and then Elsa, she looks so nice. This is a fun one to stitch. So this is for my oldest daughter, and she's very excited about having it finished. Okay, the next one is Beloved by Running with Needles and Scissors, which I actually have the picture for this one. Those birds are so beautiful. Can't wait to get to them. This bird's like, all right. And so this is on Kenneth by Grace Notes. It's 40 count linen. And I worked on these berries, which nothing wants to stay at. I think I added 2 berries and maybe 2 things of greenery. So what I'm trying to do is get enough out. This is the direction I'll work next, and then I want to start going diagonal. But there's not a lot I can stitch here yet. That could be finished. So I'm gonna get a little further, and I'll start the letters here. This is since it's on 40 count. This week I usually stitch it in hand, which is a little easier for me because I get used to where the fabric threads are, and I don't necessarily have to exactly see the hole because I can get a rough idea of like compared to the stitch next to it. But I've had some like pain in my arms lately, and I think it's like a tendonitis that I have, and so I tried stitching it. I have a Lowry stand, so going back to stitching on the Lowry stand with a Q-snap it was actually really hard on 40 count for me because I'm just not used to it. And it's really hard to see. And so I got out my, where are they? Oh, I've got them in here. So I bought I tried buying like a magnet or a magnifying thing like this. It helps with like patterns. I will say it would be great for a pattern, but it's not so ideal for the small holes and like this stitch. So what I really did was got serious and got my magnifying things up, and they're so helpful. Like it made it so much easier to see. I'm so thankful for these. And I was able to stitch on this one specifically without having pain in my arm from holding the fabric. So I have to say I was very thankful. And so I stitched that night. I was like, I'm just going to stitch as much as I possibly can. And there's so many color changes in those berries. And so you can only do so much at a time, and then you have to switch colors again. So it's a little tricky that way, but yeah, it was super great to work on that, and I'm glad I figured out how to make it more comfortable for myself while my at least try to put less stress on my arm while it's healing. So all right, the next one is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And I have this one, I've been stitching this one on 36 count linen by Atomic Ranch in the color Serenity. And I'm stitching it 1/2 with Mulberry Silk by Mrs. Sadis on Etsy. So it's a fun color. And for this one, I'm gonna put it back so I can tell you. I worked all in this area. So I got all these triangles done, and then I started working on this big motif here. So I got actually a fair amount done on this one. I was really happy with it. I love how this looks on this fabric. So happy with that. So it's such a joy to stitch on now. I had started it previously on a different color of fabric, and I just didn't like it as much, and it was also a bigger fabric. So I continue to feel really, really happy about stitching on that one. All right, and then my next one is Woman in a Field of Flowers, and the artwork is by Ida Rosa, and the charts by Stitches So Beautiful. And this is my full coverage piece. This is only, I think, I've worked on it 2 or 3 days so far, so not very many days, but it's neat that you're starting to kind of see that things are appearing, like the stalks of the flowers, or I guess the stems. This is on 32 count, easy count, even weave, and it's white, and I'm doing 2/1 tent stitch for it. It's got 127 colors, and it's 400 by 400 total. So I'm looking forward to getting to the colors. I started in the right, yeah, depends on which way you look at it, but the lower left, I guess, is where looking at it is where I started. And I usually start in the upper left corner. So, so that was a little different for me, but I did it so I could work on the flowers. And so I'm hoping to see those colors soon, because that would be really nice. But it's such a beautiful pattern. I'm looking forward to working more on this one. And also I use those magnifier glasses for this, and it makes it just so much more enjoyable for that. Even though it's like tent stitch, it just makes it easier to see everything. All right, and then this one is called Coffee, and I don't know who the pattern is by, because it was a gift to me, and I just received the pattern. It is on Etsy, I know that. The fabric is 32 count Exotic Orchid by Witchilt. And the floss is DMC, but I converted, there was a yellow color in the outline of the cup. Like right here, you can kind of see some pink there. That was all supposed to be yellow. So I changed that. And then I basically this week filled in the coffee cup here. Like right in here. So all the coffee cup and like the internal part of it's done. I just need to do the stitching around the edges here. Finish. I guess it looks like the saucer needs a little bit more, and then I can get to the fun part up here, which with the steam. So this one actually, I feel like I've got to be over halfway with this. I love this color fabric too. It's so neat, and this Witchilt fabric right here, and it says it's Witchilt, but it has the orange strip on the side. So I'm like, well, I thought it was Witchilt. I'd have to look that up again. But anyway, I love this fabric because it's so thick, and it irons super well. Like I ironed it. It took me 2 seconds, and it's just completely no wrinkles. So really nice fabric. I'll have to double check, make sure it's Witchilt. I'm pretty sure I bought that on 123 Stitch a while back. And then the last one I worked on is called For Thee by Lila's Studio, excuse me. And this one I just worked on one night. This is on 32 count linen Tycho by Picture This Plus. And this is a freebie on Leela Studio's website. Hers is a lot of it's a lot of reds and like darker reds, and I just changed the colors to something a little bit brighter and with pinks and such because I prefer that. And I worked on this heart right here. I finished the outline of the heart, so that was fun. It's always nice to see one you haven't seen in a while and work on it. So I stitched that one. So these last 2 weeks have definitely been a little different from the 2 weeks before because I did all that Olympic stitching. And so this week I was actually able to spend a couple days on different projects, which was really nice. And especially that stocking. I think I spent 3 days on the stocking, which was good. So that's really enjoyable. My plans going forward. So I am still trying to save my 2022 whip go board. And I rechecked it today. So here's where we're at. All the ones that are yellow highlighted that don't have X's through them are the ones that are active. And so some of them I haven't seen in a while. So for instance, the mini pop tiger. I did work on the Magic Kingdom Sal not too long ago with the Olympic stitching, but I'd really like to finish that Beauty and the Beast part. So that would be cool to work on. Hannah's project, the Chibi Princesses, I have been working on, so that's nice. It's actually got 2 squares active right now, so that's 10 days. I'm basically just working on it like during the day is all I have to do. And so that would be nice because maybe I can get the next princess done, which is Anna. And then I have, let's see, what else do we got? Oh, we got 2 mini pop tigers. Oh, Halloween Quaker. Okay, that's nice too because it's coming up fall, so it'll be a nice time to work on that. That one's by Leela's Studio as well. And I don't have very much done. I'm still in the very beginnings of that project, so that will be nice to see. And then the last one, which I know I really haven't worked on in a while, is Mickey's Coffee. So I love that pattern. Like I think I told you guys before, it's a lot of brown, So it's not as much, I would say it's not as much fun to work on just because there's not a lot of shades of color, but as the picture comes into focus, it's super fun. So what I'd like to do is work on some of these over the next 2 weeks. I don't know, I'm sure that Hannah's project will definitely get some work, and probably I'll work on the Magic Kingdom. I'm feeling that one too, so that would be good. So that's one thing I want to do. Let me go back to my, okay. And then the stocking, I mentioned that already too, because that's, I know I don't plan on finishing it. I'm not going to put that kind of stress on myself for this Christmas, but I really want to have it done by next Christmas. So if I can get past, I guess a good goal for me would be to get to the heel of the stocking, which is kind of the bottom of the Christmas tree. So that would be awesome. So if I can get there, I'd be super happy with that by Christmas. So hopefully I'll even get beyond that, but at least that's a good goal. The Christmas tree part is almost, I feel like full coverage on that right side of the stocking. So it's going to be more intense for sure. I also picked my first teacher project for Christmas or holiday presents, and I picked it out as well. I'll put a picture, but it's she loves Harry Potter. It's my daughter's teacher, and so I've never made a corner bookmark, but I'm gonna try. I thought that was pretty neat. She likes to read, so I'll give it a try and something different. I also want to finish Santa Paws by Mill Hill. That will be amazing. I don't know if I'm going to fully finish it yet, but I definitely have goals to finish that by Christmas too. So that's something you'll see fully finished soon. And then I also want to work on a full coverage, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe I'll go back to the Amy Stewart Treasure Hunt shelf. I haven't worked on that one in a little bit. I've got 4 full coverages now. I think, let's see, we got the Women in the Field of Flowers, the Treasure Hunt bookshelf, the Disney Heroines one, and then I also have the Magic, I think it's called Magic Study. I love all of those. It's so nice, even though I know that they're like the goals are astronomical for me because I don't stitch that much each day, even though I'd love to stitch more. But I just like, it's so nice to have projects that you're just so excited about because you love the pictures in them, you know? So anyway, so that's what I probably will do the treasure shelf, I think, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be a surprise. So those are my plans. I did not, I guess, I think I mentioned I did not have any haul this week, but I am planning on buying that Harry Potter, well, it's not Harry Potter, it's like the Wizard School bookmark on Etsy. And all the information for my projects that I like talk about with like either the fabric and the name and the designer, all that I'm going to list in my comments below, just in case I ever miss a detail or you have a question. I will try to put those things below, as well as like if I have a special needle minder on the project, I'll also try to mention that in that as well. And I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me. It was so much fun to go through these projects and you know, go talk about all the details of them with you. I look forward to seeing you guys all in 2 weeks and getting some good work done. Happy stitching!